Happy Thursday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name's Caroline. Welcome back, Daily Crafty Chat. And I have some crafty progress to share with you today. If you were here yesterday, you'll know that I was hoping to work on Savannah again last night, and I did. Oops. So it's growing. It's growing like a fungus. Look at that. It is, oh, I'm so close, you guys. I am so close. I'm loving, you know, I say that every time, but I can't help it. I do love it. So I did quite a bit of fill-in in here last night. That's where I really focused. And the fill-in, blue fill-in in here, did that as well. Did that part there. And then in here, fill in there as well. And some more of the border in there. So the plan is to continue. The plan is to continue. I had mentioned yesterday, Savannah by Landmark Tapestries and Charts. You can find the patterns for sale on www.celtichobbies.com. And just a side note about the let me finish my thought. 16 count Aida, 2 strands of DMC, and they are the called for DMC colors for this pattern, which brings me to my next point. I had an email from a viewer named Tammy yesterday, and she was asking me, she said, I've bought Savannah, but the colors look totally different than yours. Did I not get the right one? And so I had Tammy send me a photo of her cover photo of the chart, as well as her threads. And let me tell you, if the cover photos on those Landmark Tapestries and Charts patterns are terrible. I don't think I've ever seen a worse cover photo on a cross stitch pattern, bar none. I can't even think of a worse photo for a design. I don't know why. I can tell you it's not the fault of Claire, the owner of the shop who sells the charts. She's not the one producing them. She purchases them, brings them in, and then sells them. I saw Tammy sent me her photos, and I confirmed that yes, indeed, she has the correct chart. Her flosses are correct. If you're following, if you've purchased Savannah and you've been horribly disappointed by what arrived by the cover photo, just toss that cover photo. Just put it at the back and ignore it, because don't go off of it for colors, for what you're going to end up with, because it will look nothing like the cover photo. I can promise you that. The printer that they're using just isn't even, it's not even close to the colors. So if you have purchased Savannah and you've been hesitant to start it because you've been disappointed with the cover photo, have no fear. If you are following the floss colors in the chart, I promise you, you will end up with this. Oh my goodness. Good gravy. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. Savannah Landmark Tapestries and Charts. 24 hours of cross stitch. I mentioned this yesterday, and then I did a terrible job at, you know, for those of you who are new and who didn't know what it was or wanted more information, I apologize, because I did a terrible job yesterday in explaining what it is. Okay, so this weekend is the very first for this year. It's the initial 2021 24 hours of cross stitch marathon weekend. It is hosted by Jen Lee and her mom Cindy. Now Jen's Flosstube channel is called Quirks and Stitches, and I will link to her in the drop down box below. So Jen has a great YouTube channel, great Flosstube channel. Her stitching is amazing, like really, really amazing. She's done a couple of whip videos, and one of her favorite videos of mine is her 40 before 40, I think. She has this goal of completing 40 long-standing whips in her UFO pile before she turns 40. And just a great video. I mean, just to, you know, see what she's working on, and all of her projects are wonderful. She's a beautiful stitcher. So highly recommend her channel, but she is the one who hosts the weekend, and there's usually 3 or 4 a year. I want to say 3 or 4 a year. And there's a Facebook group attached to it as well. So it's, I think the Facebook group is hashtag 24 hours of cross stitch. Again, I'll leave a link to the to Jen's YouTube channel as well as the Facebook group in the drop down box below. Everyone is welcome to join. If you, and it doesn't, you don't have to follow any rules. The rules for the weekend are pretty much what you make them. It's really just supposed to be a fun community event. So there are fun things like, are you team sleep? Are you team caffeine? So are you going to try and, you know, pull an all-nighter and do your 24 hours in one stretch? Or are you going to break it up with a little bit of sleep in between, maybe start on Friday night and, you know, add your hours together. By the time you get to Sunday, you're at 24 hours. So I always end up on team sleep. I have never made, in fact, I don't know if I've ever made a full 24 hours, just, you know, with the family and responsibilities and life just getting in the way. So this weekend I am going to give it my all, and I'm going to see really what I can accomplish. So I have 2 projects in mind that I would really like to focus on this weekend. The first one being Savannah, because I can smell a finish. I'm not making any goals, but I'm so close, and I'm so just happy working on it that I will continue that this weekend. And the other project that I have pulled back out is my Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquet number 4, which is beautiful. It literally is beautiful, and that's the title. So Jeanette has Jeanette is one of our beloved Canadian cross-stitch designers, Jeanette Douglas Designs. Just in case she's a new name for you, she's amazing. Her designs are beautiful, and Jeanette is also known for incorporating some specialty stitches into lots of her charts. And I can tell you that the Blooming Bouquets series of charts doesn't have a lot of specialty stitches. So if you've been hesitant to look at them or to try them because you've been nervous about trying a stitch that you're unfamiliar with, at least from the couple charts that I've looked at, and this one of course I've looked at quite carefully, it's minimal, like really minimal. The only specialty stitch in this particular chart is some satin stitch in this inner border. It's on the inside here. Sure, yeah, that white border that's inside there, that's satin stitch. It's really easy to do, very, very simple, very straightforward, and that's it. Everything else in this chart is cross stitch. There isn't even any back stitch in this, it's just cross stitch. It's beautiful, it really is. Okay, so here's my whip. Here's where I'm at. So for the start of my weekend, this is where I'm at. I think I got both there in the, let's hold it back. I think this gives you a better idea of the color. I am using the called for materials. Jeanette sent me the materials to host the stitch along. So if you'd like to join me, any one of the 4 of the, actually there are 5 now, excuse me, any one of the Blooming Bouquet charts, you can join me in a stitch along. And like all stitch alongs with me, it's very informal. Jump in anytime, finish anytime. And I'll put the hashtag for that stitch along in the drop down box below if you'd like to follow along on Instagram as well. Oh, it's so pretty. It is so pretty. So that is what's on deck, project number 1. And I'll just tell you a little bit about my grime guard. That's what this fabric covering is on my Q-snap. It's called a grime guard if you've never seen one before, or if you've always wondered what this was and didn't want to ask. It's called a grime guard, and you can find these all over small indie shops on Etsy. Lots of makers make grime guards. I've made them before, and I know I'll be making them again in the future. And they're just a strip of fabric with some elastic on the on both sides. So there's a side of elastic encased here, and then there's some elastic encased on the other side, and then it just wraps around your Q-snap and it helps keep your fabric clean. And if you are a Q-snap stitcher and you like to keep lots of extra fabric on, if you've got a bigger whip than your Q-snap, you can fold up, roll up the excess fabric and tuck it inside the grime guard. It just keeps it out of the way. The other question that I'm often asked about my stitching is why I have it backwards. So lots of you think that I have my fabric backwards, and this is really just personal preference. So you can see that the back of my fabric is flush against this side of the Q-snap, and the front of my fabric is tucked inside. So this is called, well, people call it different things. I call it stitching in the well or stitching in the ditch. And the reason why I do it this way is twofold. First of all, when you're holding your project like this and you don't have a grime guard, it keeps your fabric cleaner. So you're touching, if you're holding it like this, you're going to be holding the back side of your fabric. Whereas if you're holding it like this and this is the front of your project and you're working it like this, your hands are more likely than not going to be touching the front of your fabric more than if you're holding it, if you're stitching it like this. The second reason I like to stitch like this is because it provides a much easier surface at the back for starting and stopping your threads, because you've got more room against the side of the frame. You're not trying to dig your needle inside close to that Q-snap. So that's why. And a little bit more about my grime guard. It was a gift from a viewer named Monica, who is also here in Ontario. So it was really fun. It's always fun to meet local stitchers and Canadian. You're all local to me. So I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. And she had sent me a package full of coffee themed goodies, and so there were needle minders and this beautiful grime guard, and it's an 11-inch square grime guard, so it was perfect for my Q-snap for this project. So Monica, it's so pretty. I love using it and makes me smile thinking of you. I'm also using one of the needle minders that Monica sent me, which is this coffee cup, because, well, she knows how much I love coffee, and I figured it's 24 hours of cross stitch weekend. There's going to be a lot of coffee. Now, I saved the card for these needle minders in case there was anybody watching who fell in love with them. This is a really nice one. Well, they were all nice. All of the ones she sent me were really nice. This one's really, really lovely. So this is by Heartfelt Crafting Co. Sarah Louise. That's a pretty name. Okay, so I'm gonna put the business card is up on the screen now. So if you want to know where to find it, you're going to want to hit the pause button and write down this information. It should be nice and clear on the screen for you right now. And let me show you. I'll show you. It's so pretty. Look at that. It's perfect. It's a perfect needle minder. And the magnet is a nice size as well. So there, put it to good use. Okay, so this is whip number 2. So those are the 2 projects that I'm going to focus on this weekend. And I've already told John that it's a marathon weekend, and if the family needs me, they can find me in my stitching chair. And he said, well, can we hang out with you? And I said, yeah, we're going to be watching TV and movies, and maybe I'll even put on some Flosstube or something. It's going to be a good weekend. I'm excited. Okay, so those are my stitching plans for the upcoming weekend. The only other thing to talk to you about today is the Evertote shop update. So if you're only here for the crafty chatter at part of the show, that's it. I don't really have any other personal stuff. Luna's snoring away like crazy, so that's not unusual. Everything else has been, there hasn't been anything overly exciting happen in my life since I spoke with you yesterday. So there won't be any other personal updates. It's just a shop update now. So if you're not here for the shop update, I'll check in with you again tomorrow for another daily crafty chat. If you are here for an update on the next shop update, that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So I am posting, I am doing 3 shop updates this week. The first one has already happened. It was on Tuesday night. The next one is happening tonight, which is Thursday, January 21st, and it's going to be happening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to now be putting the dates and times in the drop-down box below in case you need a little reminder, if you're interested. And there are no bags. There are no new bags in this shop update. I have put a couple more of the Marcel Party Cat bags. I've got a couple extra bags. I know I have a little bit of extra floss from the original. I have some cranberry and I have some ecru. If you are purchasing a Marcel bag and you would like a skein of the cranberry or the antique white, email me, caroline@evertote.com. If you just want the bag, I'm not loading them in with the bags, only because I think I've only got 5 or 6 skeins left. But if you would like to purchase the Marcel bag and you really want a skein of the flosses as well, email me. And before I get into showing you the new flosses, I just needed to tell you about emailing me. I did a little bit of work this week with my email because let me tell you, the situation was becoming dire. I have been using the same email address. Let's see. I can't even remember. It's probably been 20 years. And it was an account through my husband's business. And throughout the years, I have always had things kind of shunted into that one, sent to that one email address so that I have multiple email addresses, but everything comes to one place so that I could see it all when I would open the email program on my phone or the iPad, depending on where I was. Well, it was becoming really unwieldy because after so long, of course, you're on everybody's spam list, and even though there's a fairly good spam filter, you get email, blasts from companies, and there are, a gajillion YouTube notifications, and then there's PayPal notifications, there's, Shopify notifications, there's emails from you, there are questions that people would, are looking for help, and it was literally becoming a quagmire of trying to sort out what from what. And so I have now separated out Evertote from my other old email address. So if you are emailing caroline@evertote.com or info@evertote.com or any of those @Evertote, you'll also see .ca. So evertote.ca, anything with Evertote in the email is now getting sent to a different account. And I have penciled in 20 minutes every morning to go into that account, and I'm dealing with that email separately so that I have a much better chance of seeing it and answering it promptly. So that being said, if you made a purchase in the shop update on Tuesday night and you were hoping to get a couple more skeins of something else, if you place an order in tonight's shop update or the third shop update, which is going to be Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you place an order in any of those other 2 shop updates, if you email me after you've placed that order, then I will make sure that I can combine those orders for you so that we can get rid of those extra shipping costs, so that I'll batch the shipping so that it's just one postage fee. So caroline@evertote.com. And let me tell you, it's like it's like night and day, the difference, being able to see those emails separated out from all the other stuff in the other account. So I don't know why it took me so long to do that, but finally the light bulb went off. So it should be a lot faster for me now. Okay, let's get to the new stuff. Let's get to the new floss. I've shown it before, so I'm showing it again because today is the day that I am going to use, I'm going to use a screen cap that's going to show the floss so that people who, you know, not everybody watches every day, not everybody catches, you know, the notification that I'm going to do a shop update. So the first one, I kind of left it as, I didn't really advertise it. It was just something that I mentioned at the end of the video. This one, I'm going to use it as a screen cap. So a few extra people are going to see that there's going to be new floss in the shop. And it is the new collection of blues from Leo and Roxy. Now, one thing that I noticed from the first shop update is that the sets of 5, the sets of singles sold really fast. And so, because you never know what are people going to prefer. Are they going to prefer more of an option to choose 5 Delft or, you know, 5 Hey Sailor? But the most popular by far was the set of 5. So tonight's shop update, I'm going to heavily load the sets of 5, so the individual sets of 5, but I will still offer as well each individual color for the remainder of the numbers that I have for tonight, so that in case you missed one on Tuesday and you just want 1 or 2 other skeins, you might be able to snag those tonight. So the 5 colors, I had the set of 5, I've got it packaged up as a set, and these are them. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. Now, if you've ordered a couple of sets, I will most likely combine them in packaging so that I'm not, the amount of packaging kind of bothers me slightly because it's a lot of plastic, it's a lot of, there's a lot of waste, so I try to think carefully about how to reduce it as I go. So the bags, I try to package them in a tissue paper instead of plastic, even though I know there's probably a little bit of residue in the tissue paper. It all adds up, right? And the bags that I send them in are plastic as well, so there's that. The mailers that I'm using for the floss, I have found a cardboard stay flat mailer. So the outside envelope will be cardboard for the ones that are 5 skeins and less. And then I've got a slight bubble mailer for the larger orders. So I will be trying to use as little plastic packaging as I can. I feel it's important to try and make an effort at least to reduce where we can. So hopefully that's okay with you guys as well. So, but the sets of 5, that if you're just buying 5, you'll be getting them in a nice little envelope like that. They're so pretty. I can't tell you, winding this floss has been a joy, I am just loving it. Okay, so let me show you the colors now without being behind plastic. And what I'm doing is, because I've divided it into 3, I'm winding it in as I update the shop. So I am in the middle of winding tonight's shop update. And so I have one of each of the 5 colors on a card to show you, but I've also left it in what I'm winding it from, so that hopefully you can see a much better picture of the color. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the pictures on the website it's really hard to tell the true color of this floss, and I'm going to apologize up front. I am working on my photography. It's not great, and the weather has been so gray, and of course these are blues with, you know, a little bit of gray in them. It's really hard to show you the true color, so I'm going to do my best. I can guarantee you though, if you love blues, you will not be disappointed. This floss is gorgeous. Okay, so Those are the 5 out of the packaging. I think if I hold them back here a little bit and then I'll bring them up, you'll see how the colors will change a little bit. All 5 colors, they're over dyed by hand, so you are going to have some subtle color variation within the skein. The most heavily variegated one is Delft. That's this one. So I'll show them one at a time now. And I'm going to start with the lightest to the darkest. So lightest, we have Polar Ice. That's this blue. It's this icy, icy blue. And so on the card, it looks white or ecru from back here. If I bring it up close, you still don't get a really good idea. But when you see it in the whole skein, I think this will give you, see it right there? There it is. See the difference? That's how difficult it is to show color. It is so, it really is like an icy blue. It's beautiful. It really is pretty. There is some slight variegation in it, very, very little. But it is, you can tell it's got some shine in there. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so that's Polar Ice. Next we have Cinderella. And it really does look like Cinderella's dress from Disney. So it's this really pretty blue. There is some light variegation in there. Bring up the card. So again, this is called Cinderella. Now I'll show you the skein. Look at this blue. Oh my gosh, look at that. So pretty. I am right beside a window, so can see the way that the shadows work on here. Bring it up nice and close. You can see there's a little bit of variegation in there throughout the skein. I figured I would take my time giving you a look at the floss today because the sales can sometimes be quick and you might not have enough of a chance to really look at the colors on the shop tonight when the shop update goes live. So maybe this will give you a bit of time to make sure that you love the colors. Okay, next up, this is, I think this is maybe one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite, but this color just reminds me of a denim that I would just love. So this is called Steel. And I can't tell you, it always looks gray. Well, it's called Steel, right? So it's definitely a gray blue. But in photos, it looks more gray than blue. And there's just such a subtlety to this. Okay, so there it is on the card. You see how when I bring it closer, you can really see the blue in it? But it fools you because it really is, it really is more of a gray blue. It's well named. Where's my, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so here it is in the big skein, and I would say that this is showing more blue, what you're seeing, than what it is in reality. It's a little bit more gray. See how funny that is? Because in the photos it's really gray. Okay, let's bring it up close and see if I can get it. There, that's pretty good right there. So again, this is called Steel. I could see doing one of Jacob's, one of Modern Folk Embroidery's smaller charts in something like this on a white linen. Gorgeous. That's really, it's just so beautiful. Okay, Delft. Oh, this one. They're all beautiful. I don't have a favorite. I'm a big liar. I don't have a favorite. Okay, this is Delft. This is the one that is the most heavily variegated out of all of the 5. Even you can see on the card how, there. See the knot at the top there? It's clearly the most variegated out of all of them. And it's just so pretty. Okay, so the way that it looks before I card it up is like this. There we go. Look at that. So all the way through the medium light, right to that beautiful dark blue. There. Gorgeous. Okay, last but definitely not least is Hey Sailor. Hey Sailor, and that is the darkest blue of the lot. So this one, and this one does have a little more variegation than I first thought, but when you spend so much time winding them, you really notice the nuance of the color. So there you can see that? When you look at it from far away, you don't notice really much variegation at all, but when you look at it up close, look at the knot there. See? It's just so pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, so that's Hey Sailor, and here it is in large. So to compare that to Delft, because I know if you're not seeing them side to side, it's hard to tell. They look similar. Delft has got a lot more of the lighter variegation. I know things are blowing out here. So let's see. There, Delft, and there's the darker side of Hey Sailor. They're looking a lot more similar. I'll be able to see when I'm editing this, but in reality, there's a bigger difference between the two. Beautiful. Beautiful. And of course you can see that difference much more clearly, I think. Those are the skeins, the cards. So there's Delft and Hey Sailor next to each other in card form. Ambulance going by there. Okay, so I think that gives you a much better idea of the actual colors of these flosses. I hope, anyways, much more so than in the photographs on the shop, and I apologize for that. So again, there's a set of 5. There's a second ambulance. Oh dear, must have been an accident down the road. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I'm off to wind more floss, and I will see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to start my 24 hours of cross stitch tomorrow night. That's when I'm going to start counting my hours, and I am going to use my timer because I actually want the full 24-hour progress of stitching. So I'm not going to be counting time that I'm up, you know, having dinner or getting a coffee. I'm going to actually set the timer to work its way backwards from 24 hours, and when I'm not stitching, the timer will be off. So that's my goal, and I can't wait to see how much progress I get done. It's going to be very exciting. Okay, so that's it for me today. I'll see you again tomorrow with hopefully some more growth on my Savannah. Also, I have put a few rows into my Caroline shawl, and I hope to also knit a few more rows into that tonight as well. Okay, so that's it for me today. I hope that you have a great night. I hope that you're safe and healthy, and that you have a few moments tonight to do some crafting for yourself. And I'll see you tomorrow. So take care, everybody. Happy stitching. One more thing. but I'm back. One more thing I forgot to mention that I meant to mention, because people ask and then I forget to say anything about it, is the original floss colors. So the Very Cranberry, the Antique Wedding Dress, the green, the Spruced Up, and the cinnamon. People ask, are the original colors coming back, and when are they coming back? So I only have about, I think I have 7 skeins left of the only 3 of the original 4 colors. That's why I'm not putting them in the shop. They're only, the original ones are only available if you buy a Marcel bag and you want one of those still and you didn't get one. But I only have 3 of the colors and I don't have very many. Carrie, it has said that she will be dyeing more of these colors, but you have to remember that she is recovering from heart surgery, so she hasn't done them yet, and at this point I can't offer a date for when they will be done. All I know is that she will be doing them, so they will be coming back. They won't be the same dye lot as the original colors, but we do have plans to offer the original colors again. I can't tell you when that will be, so eventually. Yeah, that cranberry, oh man, I love that color. Okay, that really is it now. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.